If you're a sucker for killer muscles, ripped pants, and an unstoppable green rage, then this is great news for you. It's none other than the entity known as the Incredible Hulk. Since Bruce Banner's fateful gamma exposure, the behemoth has undergone countless physical and mental transformations. Over the years, he's donned different costumes, taken on different personalities, and even changed his skin color more than once. Regardless of whether it's the frail Banner or the immortal Hulk who's in control, two facts never change. One, he really needs therapy, and two, he's just one bad day away from tearing everything and everyone around him apart. Since his legendary power is directly tied to the rage in his heart, today's list will take you through the Titan's greatest feats, ranked by the level of rage he has reached. Self-proclaimed the strongest being who ever lived, it's time to dive into the gamma-powered giant's journey to see just how powerful he really is. One of the most famous confrontations in the Marvel Universe is the battle between the Hulk and the Thing, a stone creature from the Fantastic Four. The feud between these two heavyweights is not just a physical conflict, but also a symbol of two pinnacles of limitless power and rage. Of the many times the two titans have clashed, one battle in particular stands out, not only for the destruction it caused, but also for the mastermind behind the entire plot, Dr. Doom. Doom approached the Hulk in his gray form, asking him to help reclaim the throne of Latveria. However, to the dictator's surprise, Hulk refused and was immediately humiliated. Doom used his words to provoke anger, praising the Thing's newfound strength and belittling Hulk as just another Las Vegas henchman. The trap was set perfectly, and Hulk immediately responded, roaring that he had defeated talking rocks in every previous encounter. Upon arriving in New York, his rage led him to a surprise ambush. Without a word, Hulk delivered the first blow, sending the Thing flying off a skyscraper and plummeting to the streets below. The real battle began there, without a word of greeting, without a word of warning. He kept his rising intelligence bottled up inside him, attacking on pure instinct, believing that his usual brute strength would be enough to crush his opponent, but Hulk was wrong. He ignored Doom's warning that the Thing had now surpassed his old limits. As he pinned his opponent in a full body lock, it seemed like he had won early on. However, the Thing rose up, using his new strength to crush Hulk's grip, delivering heavy punches that sent him reeling back and beginning to feel an unfamiliar emotion: fear. He fled toward Central Park, where the darkness and trees formed a natural maze. There, he used stealth tactics for the first time in his life. For 45 minutes, the chase continued in the dark. The Thing turned instinctively, but the Hulk had disappeared, leaving only a flash of his fist as his opponent's back was turned. Finally, the Hulk dodged an attack, causing the Thing to lose his balance and fall straight into a nearby lake. As his heavy body sank, the Hulk dove down, locking his opponent's arms, preventing him from escaping. But just before his life was taken, the Hulk loosened his grip, allowing the Thing to float. Not out of compassion, but to let the Thing carry the shame of defeat with him for the rest of his life. Then he knocked his opponent down one last time, ending the fight. This is not only a testament to his superhuman strength, but also a warning of the danger when the Hulk's intelligence is combined with the atomic power within him. When the green aliens decide to turn the Earth into a chessboard in their deadly game, and choose to launch an asteroid twice the size of the planet straight at Earth, the world is thrown into a state of utter panic. Astronomers in Nevada determine the trajectory and realize that no nuclear warhead can deflect the giant rock that is hurtling toward destruction. All hope rests on a single entity, an indestructible being, an immortal rage, the Hulk. Nicknamed Mr. Fix-It, the Hulk is equipped with a special thruster attached directly to his powerful body, filled with gamma energy. With his already ocean-crossing leap, the new technology elevates his abilities to celestial levels. He launched himself out of the atmosphere, straight into space, and faced the incoming meteor. No weapons, no spaceship, just a punch, but it came from a creature that carried the world on its back. With terrifying speed and sheer force, Hulk's punch pierced the meteor, shattering it into pieces that flew through the void. Earth was saved, not by science or strategy, but by a strike of pure, unbridled rage. After completing his mission, Hulk sought out the source of the threat: the aliens who had taken the destruction of the planet as a pastime. They had never thought of the consequences until they witnessed Hulk crushing their defenses like an eggshell. Faced with the impending massacre, they were so frightened that they vowed never to play with the lives of other planets again.
Satisfied with the results, the Hulk was brought back to Earth via the teleportation technology of the defeated. No one knew about the event, no medal, no thanks. But the image of the Hulk smashing a celestial body with his bare fist remains as a testament to the unanswered question: How many times has the Hulk secretly saved the world? Nothing inspires absolute terror like the sight of the Hulk unleashing his full, unbridled power, especially when his opponent is an ancient magical entity from the shadows, the giant dragon Fin Fang Foom. The story begins in the coldest place on Earth, the icy wastes of Antarctica. There, a group of scientists accidentally save Bruce Banner from death in the ice, unaware that they have just stepped into the heart of a tragedy. During a routine ice sample collection mission, they awaken Fin Fang Foom, a dragon who has been frozen in slumber for millennia. When the creature emerged from the ice, it brought with it not only ancient power but also a cruel game. It killed 2 people, possessed a scientist, and sowed chaos among the remaining members. Fear and suspicion quickly fell on Bruce, the only stranger among them. When a scientist attacked Banner in a panic, a long simmering anger rose. The Hulk roared, breaking free of his human shell and standing face to face with the dark magic that had just revealed itself. Fin Fang Foom no longer hid. He rose up, regaining his true form, a giant monster that defied all biological conventions, born of ancient magical bloodlines. The battle between the 2 entities began. Fin Fang Foom, with his giant body and magic surrounding him, thought that his size advantage would help him crush his enemy. But the Hulk was no ordinary creature. The more he fought, the stronger he became. The more he was injured, the more he became enraged. When the dragon offered to join forces to rule over humanity, the Hulk didn't need to think. He refused with his fists. With tremendous force, the Hulk grabbed the dragon's tail, lifted it off the ground, and swung it around like a toy. Then, he threw the ancient entity through the atmosphere, through space, and straight onto the surface of the moon, where no light could reach, and there was no way back. The throw not only demonstrated the Hulk's sheer power, but also his control, precision, and ruthlessness when forced to end a threat. In that moment, the Hulk was more than a creature of science. He was the embodiment of raw power, a declaration to the universe. There was no place for monsters to tread on Earth, unless he allowed it.
In the cosmic cataclysm that was Secret Wars, all the rules were bent, and unimaginable moments were etched into history. In the chaotic battlefield of supernatural beings, an image stood still in time. The Hulk, his arms braced, supporting an entire mountain range with his brute strength. There were no miracles, no machines to aid him, just a creature roaring, under the pressure of hundreds of billions of tons of falling rock. When the superhero's makeshift base was destroyed by Molecule Man, the wounded warriors tried to retreat. But the villain wanted to impress Volcana, and in a gesture of arrogance, he lifted a mountain range that towered over the Andes, suspended it in the air, and dropped it, as a declaration of destruction. The group of heroes, the great icons of Earth, lay in the shadow of the falling mountain, and all hope seemed lost. All except the Hulk. With his body bleeding and his hands shaking, he stretched out, straining all his muscles to support the entire weight of the mountain. There was no time, no choice. He became the living pillar that carried the lives of an entire army of heroes. No one helped him, just him and his unimaginable weight. The air beneath the mountain began to run out, and each breath became difficult. But the Hulk still held on. Still held on. Mr. Fantastic screamed, trying to draw up a plan to escape in the short time left. The words seemed insulting. Use your muscles, that's all you're good for. Not out of contempt, but to keep the Hulk's anger burning even more. And he knew it. With a burst of anger, Hulk held the massive boulder steady until Iron Man, using the energy-charging devices from Captain Marvel and the Human Torch, fired, cutting through the mountainside and opening a way out. As light filtered through the cracks in the rock, the heroes rushed out, narrowly escaping death. Mr. Fantastic turned, apologizing for provoking the Hulk. He looked straight ahead, speaking through his ragged breaths. "I know, Richards, I'm not stupid." That answer was not just a reaction, but an affirmation that beneath that green skin was an intelligence not to be underestimated. The moment the Hulk shouldered 150 billion tons of rock would forever be iconic. Not because he destroyed, but because he protected. Not because he was angry, but because he chose to hold it all together, with sheer strength and unyielding will.
There are bad days. And for the Hulk, a bad day means the universe should brace for disaster. The clash with Gladiator, the supreme warrior of the Shi'ar Empire, took place on such a day. Before the bloodshed, the Hulk was approached by a boy named David, who claimed to be his son. Accompanied by Doc Samson, who hopes to coax the remaining humanity out of the green monster. But the Hulk coldly says, "Go away." At that moment, a squad of Shi'ar soldiers appears. confirming that David is actually an alien parasite, a changeling, ordered to be eliminated. When Gladiator, the leader of the Force, tries to approach the child by force, the Hulk loses control. His anger explodes. There's no more negotiation, no more hesitation, only fists. Gladiator, a nearly immortal being, is overwhelmed by the first blow. At first he thinks the Hulk is an uncontrolled wild animal, but after a few collisions, he realizes this is a nightmare made of flesh and blood. The two fly through the clouds. The collision explodes the air and tears the sky. Gladiator locks the Hulk in midair, carrying him beyond the atmosphere. But the Hulk is not resigned. In a moment of desperation, he swung his arms, delivering his famous thunderclap to both sides of Gladiator's head, a sonic blow that was as powerful as a nuclear bomb exploding between his eardrums. The force paralyzed Gladiator. Both fell free. Hulk landed on the ground, staggered to his feet, and was surprised by the counterattack. The beam of energy from Gladiator's eyes pierced straight through Hulk's chest, creating a hideous wound. But nothing could stop him. Hulk stood up, blood soaked the ground, and he stepped straight into the beam, straining to advance. One hand grabbed Gladiator's head. The other forced the energy back, causing the Shi'ar warrior to scream in pain. Finally, Hulk dragged Gladiator's unconscious bloody body across the floor. With his chest torn open, he still had enough strength to throw his enemy's entire body into the core of a nearby nuclear reactor. The explosion shook the entire facility, but he did not stop there. As Gladiator fell like a burning punching bag, Hulk unleashed more punches, unleashing the anger of a lifetime of rejection. He roared, his eyes bloodshot. "I'll teach you a lesson." If it weren't for David, or the creature pretending to be David begging for his life, Gladiator might never have left that place alive. Hulk stopped. He looked down at his child, who was trembling with fear. In those panicked eyes, he saw his own reflection, and for the first time since the battle, he stopped punching. Not out of compassion, but out of self-loathing. The universe knew Gladiator as a symbol of invincibility, but this time he lost. And his opponent wasn't Bruce Banner. It was the real monster,